Hi guys, so since being appointed, not elected, Lord Frost, the Brexit Minister, has been treating committees that are attempting to hold him to account with nothing but contempt. Now, don't confuse his polite nature with him respecting the committees. I've seen it on a number of occasions, Lord Frost having something else on his agenda and having another meeting to run off to. Now, he's quite opaque at the best of times, but it seems that those dealing with him are starting to lose patience with the Brexit Minister. Now, I want to highlight two aspects of Lord Frost's behaviour. His attempt to get out of committee meetings because perhaps he realises that Brexit is a disaster, and his attempts to avoid scrutiny over the type of deal that he got with the EU and how crap it is, precisely because Boris Johnson didn't give him enough time to negotiate areas away from fishing.
Frost, I've been a government minister in 3 different government departments, including the Cabinet Office, and I find your approach to select committee scrutiny pretty appalling, actually, in trying to set out such saying you're sorry at the start of having only an hour. As you know, we would like longer than an hour because that's what's needed on this very important issue, and I believe that you aren't keen to be here and you've tried to evade coming before us. But I won't pursue that because time is pressing.
And I've seen it myself. What happens is at the beginning of the meeting, Lord Frost says, okay, yes, I'm here to speak with you today, but I only have an hour, or I have another meeting directly after this. This is because he doesn't want to face scrutiny. It's about avoiding responsibility, because the longer he's there, the more questions can be asked, and the more questions that can be asked, the more we realize that he was either incompetent or that Brexit is a disaster, or maybe both. Now, here's another example.
Lord Frost, Culture Department ministers seemed largely unprepared for the impact the Brexit deal was going to have on the creative sector. Why do you think that was?
Well, I'm not sure I would agree with the proposition. I'm sure Minister Darnage wouldn't either.
Well, she might not, but let me quote her to you. When she appeared before us in February, she said the following: "We need to get to the bottom of what all the issues are." I was quite surprised she didn't know what the issues were. But she also said on the vital visa question, and I quote her, "To my knowledge, there are no current negotiations taking place." Now, this is 47 days after the agreement had been signed. When did you yourself know that the ability for artists to tour would not be included in the agreement?
So, sadly, we were aware that the sector would be hit in the same way as other service providers as the negotiations went on. I think it was
roughly when did the penny drop?
So I think it was probably only in November that it...
So from November to February, the minister responsible for culture didn't know about these visas, this visa requirement. So Lord Frost didn't inform the minister. Why did he not do that? Or he did inform the minister and the minister didn't do anything about it. Why didn't the minister do anything about it? Maybe the minister did something about it and responded to Lord Frost and say, why the hell didn't you negotiate for these visas? And I imagine if that happened, Lord Frost would have responded by saying, we didn't have enough time. Remember, Boris Johnson limited the negotiations. He wanted the negotiations to be finished as soon as possible because he wanted the transition period to end as soon as possible. I've said this before. If you want to negotiate a good deal, you need to spend time and effort. I don't know what the effort was, but the time was extremely limited. And if you remember last year, all that they talked about was fish. So I'm hypothesizing here, but I imagine what happened was many ministers were putting pressure on Lord Frost to negotiate good deals. I hope that was the case, or maybe these ministers just didn't give a crap about their departments. Let's be as kind as possible to them. Many ministers were asking Lord Frost, are you negotiating a good deal for our departments, the different departments in Whitehall? And I imagine his response was, yes, I am. But in reality, it was, we don't have time because Boris Johnson hasn't given me enough time. Unfortunately, I don't think Lord Frost is going to be very transparent about that.
Finally became apparent that we weren't going to be able to persuade the EU to do more.
Right, which is why it's
So it was not a time issue. It was you weren't able to convince the EU. But then remember the rhetoric we heard from Brexiteers that we hold all the cards. So the Brexiteers who said we are in control, they were wrong, or you didn't have enough time.
surprising that the minister didn't realise what the full impact was going to be in February. When did you tell the ministers in the department that you'd been unable to secure the kind of decent Brexit deal that you'd promised?
So I think I mean, Minister Danish will, I'm sure, speak for herself if the chair.
Notice he didn't say when. He's trying to deflect away from the actual question. The question was, when did you inform the minister? And he is trying. I think what he's trying to do here is he realized that the minister is in trouble, or he's in trouble. If the minister is in trouble, he's trying to cover the arse of another minister. Perhaps he's in trouble because he didn't actually inform the minister. I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of this.
Allows that, but I think you're putting words into her mouth slightly.
No, I'm quoting her word for word. I have the transcript in front of me.
Lord Frost, as I said before, probably didn't have enough time to negotiate everything. So they agreed to the demands of the European Union. When it came to the end of the negotiations, they realized this is a disaster. And instead of being honest with the public and being honest with their own government, they tried to sweep these issues under the carpet. Now you're seeing the consequences of that. The farming industry, the fishing industry, the music industry, and a whole range of industries, and Northern Ireland, of course, as well, but a whole range of industries left with nothing, left to pick up the pieces. And no accountability here. Yes, you have a few committees trying to hold Lord Frost to account, but as you heard in the first video, Lord Frost, doesn't have the time to speak to these committees. He always has something else to do. The people were sold the idea that Brexit would be easy, that the UK held all the cards, and the EU would roll over and give in to whatever demands the Brexiteers made. I hope this is pointing out the fact that that was a lie. Let me know in the comments section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?